All right, time now for another Future Stocks video interview. And as you can see, I need sunglasses. But anyways, Kade McClure is my guest here. Kade and I first met back in 2018 when you were at Kannapolis, and it's been a crazy 3 years since. But how you doing, man? Everything going well?
Yeah, feeling good. Nice to kind of get out in some sunshine and get out of the cold from Pittsburgh and get going with some baseball again.
So 3 innings or 3 innings right now out in Arizona. After last year and after the injuries you've had, I mean, it has to feel amazing to get back out on the mound with that White Sox jersey on and be pitching with your friends.
Yeah, it is, and it's been a lot of hard work to get to this point, and like you mentioned, the injury year and losing a year with COVID and stuff. It was tough to just kind of sit around the last couple of years and not really get a huge chunk of game time in that I've been expecting from the moment I got drafted. But it's nice to be invited out here and be a part of this group.
We'll get into some specifics here in a second, but 18, I was at the game when you hurt your knee, right? It just seemed like a freak accident. And then, last year with COVID and, kind of, not being able to go to Schaumburg and things like that. I mean, a lot of people would have just given up either one of those situations, man. And, it's a testament to your drive and determination, but what kept it going for you mentally more than physically to just keep fighting?
It was more so during the COVID year than anything, just realizing, having played the year before in 19, having a pretty good year,
right.
And then having 20 come along, COVID hits, it's all kind of taken away from you. That, just kind of goes to show how fast that, sports can be taken away from you as an athlete, whether you want it to happen or not. I mean, I obviously didn't have a choice last year, but kind of just proved to me, you could be at the end of your career and you want to keep playing, but no one wants you, kind of thing too. So kind of just gave me some perspective on, what might happen after baseball if baseball doesn't work out. And I kind of got a taste of the real world a little bit, had to work and, occupy my time otherwise outside of baseball this, COVID year. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't what I wanted to do. It's not what I want to do with my life, quite yet. So just, trying to keep that in the back of my mind and let that kind of drive me, during my workouts and during my throwing and this and that to get me prepared for game situation.
So we've talked in the off seasons before. I know this isn't the off season, but, leading up to this 2021 season, what were some of the main things you focused on?
Just, obviously you're working on getting stronger and flexibility and mobility and that kind of stuff. But, a lot of stuff we worked on in October during our instructs period was some mechanical cleanup stuff, just trying to work my body a little bit more efficiently. Just understanding that I'm a bigger guy. There was more in the tank and we just didn't know how to get there yet. So working with Ben Hansen and Everett Tieford and, in our pitching lab and doing a lot of stuff like that, where I was able to kind of get some numbers and get some, biomechanical feedback to understand where I need to be. And then kind of put some drills into place to get to that point. It's some thought process stuff, it's some mechanical stuff, but a little bit of both to, ultimately use my body a little bit more efficiently to get more out of it, really.
So I know yesterday's outing, you're in the mid 90s. Are you throwing a little harder? Or you're mentioning getting more out of your body. Did you mean velocity wise, or do you mean consistency, or what do you mean exactly?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, traditionally I've always been, like a 90 to 92 guy. I'll get a 3 or 4 here and there. And that's kind of what I thought I was, but they were confident that we could get more out of it. In October I'd be sitting 93, 95 out of the bullpen, here and there. And I think even the other day we had like a 96 or something like that. So, obviously peak velocity is kind of increased a little bit, but it's more so just looking for, that ability to maintain, throughout the duration of a start of and of a season in general.
For yourself, I mean, you've been pitching obviously forever. Does it seem interesting that no one had ever told you about what you had worked on? I mean, you've had a lot of great coaches obviously in your time, but when they made those suggestions, were you like, wow, I can't believe we didn't think of that before? Was it anything like that, or was it like little tiny things?
I'd done stuff on my own, but I didn't necessarily know, I could watch film on a guy and say, well, that's different than what I do. And he throws harder than I do. So, maybe try to mimic that. But it wasn't that easy as where I just tried to throw like someone else and it clicked. So it was more so just the specifics of my body, what we thought might work. And that was, maybe shortening up my stride a little bit, working on getting onto my front side a little bit more. And, little things like that. And, it's no discredit to coaches I've had in the past. It's just the access of technology that we have here too with a pitching lab. And, we have a biomechanical engineer on site that works with us daily that we're able to get information and feedback from as well. So just a lot of good resources and a combination of things that's kind of contributed to a little bit of the jump that I made.
Let's talk about some of your teammates a little bit. I mean, obviously, some of the guys that you were with in Kannapolis and then Winston-Salem, moving up and stuff, you're around them now. I mean, how cool is it to be, we were talking back in 2018, like it was a great time to be a part of the organization because you could see what was building. And then once Luis Robert made his debut that June of that year, you could just kind of tell that, this was
right.
The next couple of years, it was going to be awesome. So what's it like, not only being a part of that, but then seeing some of your friends that you've already played with up there with you now?
Yeah, it's cool. And, when I got hurt, I felt like I kind of got set behind and watched that draft class and my teammates in that group I kind of played with early on, just kind of keep moving and having success. And obviously I was happy for them, but it was hard for me to watch that knowing, had I not gotten hurt, I'd probably be in that group as well. So, it's nice to kind of play catch up a little bit and get back to where I should be ultimately. But it's cool. I mean, it's fun to see guys that I've played with and got drafted with getting their chances in the big leagues and getting their debuts out of the way and, not then kind of just roll with their career. It's awesome. I'm excited for those guys.
What do you think of Ethan Katz?
I think it's awesome. He's kind of got the mix of, old school in a way where he's not trying to be super analytical, but at the same time, he does understand the technology, does understand where baseball is going. So he kind of has a mix of both, and it's been nice. And it's, our conversations haven't necessarily been super analytical based. It's more been, certain situations. Why did I throw this pitch? And, I would have done this in this situation or whatever, or just explain why, I went through with whatever. And it's been nice to have just a different set of eyes and just a new group around.
And then of course, with Tony La Russa being there, I mean, there aren't many managers in baseball who are more decorated or, that have more success than Tony La Russa in history, not just now, in history. So what's that like having him in the clubhouse and him on the field?
It's cool. It's just funny, just growing up watching baseball. That was the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, and the guy who won World Series. He coached Albert Pujols, and that's how I think of Tony La Russa. And then I share a clubhouse with him at times. It's kind of wild how it comes full circle like that. But Tony's been awesome. Super personable, definitely a player's coach for sure. That the experiences I've had so far, and he understands that it's a job, but we also need to prioritize. How we feel, how body wise, making sure you're not pushing us to the limits this early in the spring and making sure guys in the right situations to succeed.
A couple more questions, let you go, Kade. You guys have only played, I don't know, 3 or 4 games or whatever it is. I keep wanting to say it's summer because it's 70 degrees today. And yeah. So anyways, this spring, but who's kind of stood out to you, I guess, that, you're watching? I mean, we've seen Andrew Vaughn, and I guess that something that I've heard is, that he's definitely not overmatched. I mean, that comes as no surprise to us who've seen him play, but he still has to do it to prove it. But what's kind of stood out to you a little bit about this team so far?
Just being around the veteran guys on a daily basis. In the past, I've gotten to backup games here and there and just kind of watching that certain day, but now being around them all day, every day while I'm at the complex, just watching how they go through training room routines and weight room routines and how they approach their bullpens and how everything is, there's no wasted time. It's time to get there. It's time for business. And just like watching Lance Lynn's bullpen, it's like the best bullpen I've ever seen in my whole life every time he throws. It's just really cool to watch those guys just do that and dominate each part of each day. So a lot of things I'm trying to pick up on and, hopefully take with me along, the rest of my journey.
Obviously you have to be a hard worker and, be disciplined and everything like that, but to get to where you are. But has seeing like guys like Tim Anderson and maybe Moncada and some of these other guys, seeing what they do on a day-to-day basis and Lance Lynn, has that been eye-opening for you to thinking like, oh man, I was doing this I'm thinking I'm doing a great job, but then wow, look at these guys. I gotta get up there. Is that kind of how you're feeling?
Yeah, and not only that, but it's just the confidence too
Okay.
of working out with these guys and pitching to these guys in live ABs during practice and stuff. And I mean, you get done facing a round of 4 or 5 guys, and you have some success, and you think to yourself, is there really another lineup in baseball that's any better than what we have to offer? So it gives some confidence to the pitchers as well, as we're going, hey man, if you had a good outing that day, you probably had the best outing of anyone in baseball right now, because there isn't a lineup out there, outside of maybe 1 or 2 teams that really compete with what we are able to put out there. So it's cool, and it's nice to know that we have that in our own clubhouse. That we have that star power and that ability to take what we've done to the next level now.
Last thing, I'll let you go. I know you've had some big personal moments in your life over the last year or so. You moved to Pittsburgh, and what's that been like for you away from baseball, but personally this last year for you?
It's been nice. I mean, I found a good community of guys to work out with and throw with and do all my off-season things with. That I didn't really know that were out there. Some guys that I actually already known, just didn't realize they lived in the area or whatever it was. So it's been a pretty easy transition, and found some places to get baseball lessons at, just keep myself busy, and it's been great. Nice to be able to live with my fiance and have our own house and stuff now. So it's been really cool to kind of as much as this last year kind of sucked with COVID, but just kind of grow up a little bit in different parts of my life.
All right, Kade, I really appreciate this, man. The biggest thing, stay healthy, and keep showing what you can do. And best of luck to you this season. And I'm sure we'll open up a few eyes this summer. So thank you very much for your time, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Have a great day.
Kade McClure, White Sox pitching prospect for Future Sox.